Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Standard test method for penetration of bituminous materials, presented by Engineer Irfanullah of International Islamic University. Designation of the test according to ASTM D506. 06 is for the year of revise of the documents. Scope of the test. This test method covers determination of the penetration of semi-solids in solid bituminous materials. The needles, containers, and other conditions described in this test methods provide for the determination of penetration up to 500. Also in this scope, the value of standard internationals are used throughout this lecture. And furthermore, the safety concerns are not covered in these lectures. All the safety precautions regarding to this practical lab should be performed in practice and studied separately. So let's start first with the introduction and summary of the test. Penetration of a bituminous material expressed is the distance in tenth of a millimeter that a standard needle vertically penetrates a sample of materials under known condition of loading, time, and temperature. The known condition of loading is 100 gram and the known condition of the time is 5 seconds and the temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. This test is also known as penetration test simply. So that's why what is penetration is most important. So penetration is the distance covered by a standard needles in the penetrometers into the bituminous samples for 5 seconds. So the sample is melted first. So we are studying the summary. So the sample is melted first and then cooled under controlled conditions. The penetration is measured with a penetrometer by means of which a standard needle is applied to the sample under specific conditions. So significance and use of the test. So penetration test is used as a measure of consistency. Higher value of penetration indicates a softer consistency. As you know that if the bituminous material is softer, so it means that it will allow the needle to penetrate deeper. And if the bituminous material is very hard, so it will not allow the needle to penetrate much deeper. So it can be used to find how much hard and soft material is to be used for a specific constructions of road and other buildings. So the apparatus required for the tests are penetration apparatus, which can also be called as a penetrometer. So this is the penetrometer. So the apparatus permits the needle, it allowed the needle to move vertically without measurable frictions, and it is also capable of measuring the depth of penetrations to the nearest 0.1 mm. So the weight of the spindle should be 47.5 plus minus 0.05 gram, and the total weight of the needle in spindles assembly should be 50 grams. So the surface of the sample and the needle should be 90 degrees to each other. The spindle should be easily detached for checking its weight. And moreover, the needle or the plunger and the surface of the sample should be just in contact before starting the test. So penetration needle. The needle is shown in the figure should be made from hardened stainless steel. Its length is approximately 50 millimeters 2 inch in length, and its diameter is 1 to 1.02 millimeter, and at the end it is tapered and its diameter is reduced to 0.14 to 0.16 millimeter for approximately that much distance. So it should be symmetrically tapered at one end by grinding to a cone having an angle between 8.7 and 9.7 degree over the entire cone length. So in these figures, it is illustrated that under the noun weight of 100 gram, the needle is allowed to penetrate into the asphalt cement at the temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. And after the 5 seconds, the needle is penetrated into the asphalt cement for the period of 5 seconds, and the penetration is measured in units of 0.1 millimeter. So in other apparatus, the third apparatus after the penetrometer needle, the third one is sample content. A metal or a glass cylinder, flat bottom containers of essentially dimension should be used. So most of the standard tests require the containers of the dimensions like its diameter of 55 millimeter and depth or height of 35 millimeters. While for some of the specified tests for a very soft bituminous, it required a diameter of 70 millimeter and depth of 45 millimeter. But we will use in the lab the sample containers of diameter 55 millimeter and depth of 35 millimeter. The other apparatus required during the tests are below. The water bath. Water bath is used to maintain the temperature of the samples to the required temperature. For example, it contains waters which are given the control temperature from the control panel. So the containers along with the sample are put into the water bath to maintain for a specified temperature. Like in this case, we will maintain the temperature of the sample to the 25 degrees Celsius. The fifth apparatus required in this test is transfer tray. So transfer tray is also a tray which have the ability to cover the containers with waters in order that we maintain the temperature of the water up to the required temperature. Timing device, most probably stopwatch, will be required during the test if the test is not automatic. Thermometer is required to measure the temperature of the environment and also the temperature of the sample. So first, before starting the procedure of the test, we will prepare the test specimens. If the sample is not sufficiently fluid is received. If it is not fluid, we will not be able to pour it into the container. So first of all, heat the samples with care, stirring until it has become sufficiently fluid. It will be most probably 75 to 100 degrees Celsius. At that much temperatures, it will be able to pour into the container. So it should not be heated more than 60 degrees above its expected softening point. So after heating and make it fluid, pour the sample into the sample container to a depth such that the depth of the sample is at least 120% of the depth to which the needle is expected to penetrate. Allow the samples to cool in air at a temperature between 60 to 90 minutes. and its temperature should be between 15 to 30 degrees Celsius. So after cooling it, place the sample along with the container and transfer dish into the water bath to maintain it at 25 degrees Celsius for a period of 60 to 90 minutes. After achieving the required temperatures of the sample, then we have to place the sample in the test assembly like this. The room temperature during the test should be maintained at 25 degrees Celsius. And this is the penetrometers along with the needle. Below the needle of the penetrometer, the sample is placed in the containers which is inside into the transfer dish. So, we are ready for the procedure for the conduction of the test. The sample is prepared and placed in the penetrometer. Now start the procedure. First of all, clean a penetration needle, dry and insert the needle into the penetrometers. So the needle should be ready. Unless otherwise specified, place the 50 gram weight above the needle, making the total weight 100 plus minus 0.1 gram. It says that if it is not specified as special conditions of lower or higher weight, you should maintain a weight of the needle in the whole assembly is 100 plus minus 0.1 gram. Means the known conditions, the default conditions of the penetrometers is 100 gram, under which the penetration is carried out. So the second step is place the sample container in transfer dish, cover the container completely with water from constant temperature, and place the transfer dish on the stand of penetrometer. As we can see that the sample container is placed under the penetrometer. Position the needle by slowly lowering it until its tip just make contact with the surface of the sample, and this can be done with the help of the adjusting screw. The fourth step is either note the reading of the penetrometer dial or bring it to the pointer to the zero. Means the target is to find the penetrations. So either you bring the initial reading as 0 or you read the initial reading and subtract it from the final reading. Now the fifth step is make or quickly release the needle holders for specified period of time, means 5 seconds, and adjust the instrument to measure the distance penetrated in tenth of the millimeters. If the container moves, ignore the results. So this is the whole assembly. If you have an automatic penetrometer, so just push the button and give it 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, stop the penetration and then measure the penetration, or the penetration will be measured automatically in the automatic penetrometer. So these steps should be repeat again to make at least 3 determination at point on the surface of the sample not less than 10 millimeter from the side of the container and not less than 10 millimeter apart. Means the 3 readings according to the step number 5 means push the button, give it 5 seconds, after 5 seconds stop the penetrations and read the penetration distance. So this penetration should be at a distance 3 times. Mean at least you have to penetrate the needle for 3 times, and the penetration distance should be measured. So penetration should be 10 millimeter apart from each other, as well as 10 millimeters, at least 10 millimeters far from the side of the nipple. So now you have 3 reading of penetrations. So what to do next? So you have to take average of these 3 values of penetrations. This will be your penetration. But keep in mind, you have some conditions. We will discuss it in the report. So report says that the mean value of 3 consistent penetration measurements is the penetration value. So, or report to the nearest whole unit the average of 3 penetration whose value do not differ by more than the following. So what it means, the table below says that if your penetration is from 0 to 49, then the difference between the highest and lowest penetration should not be more than 2. Means if you have one penetration of 40 and the second penetration is 44, it will not be acceptable because the difference between 40 and 44 is greater than 2. Similarly, if the penetration range is 50 to 149, the maximum difference between lowest and highest penetration is 4. If the penetration range is between 150 and 249, the maximum difference between highest and lowest penetration should not be more than 12. Similarly, if the range is between 250 and 500, which is the maximum scope of the test, the difference between highest and lowest penetration should be not more than 20. It can be less than 20. So hope you will find it very helpful. Thank you very much for watching the video. See you next time.